Our first question is going to come from Chris Becker from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Trace, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, sir.
So last season you got to play Sam Ehlinger for one of your first Big 12 games in your career. What do you remember from that game about like what makes him so talented?
I remember him being just huge, probably the biggest quarterback I've ever seen coming up to that, and how fast he was. He didn't run for his size. He ran a lot faster than I expected. He was big and fast, and he was smart. It was something I haven't experienced in a long time. That was the first time I ever experienced a quarterback like that.
Right, and as a defensive line unit, what are you guys gonna have to do this Saturday to make sure that he doesn't take over the game?
We're just gonna have to be in his face, pressure him, make sure the gaps, create a new line of scrimmage. Definitely just get in his face and create a lot of havoc back there, so he doesn't have time to throw the ball.
Awesome, thank you, Trace.
Our next question is going to come from Nate Fakin from KFOR in Oklahoma City. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Trace, I was just wanting to ask you, there seems to be a pretty good connection right now between your high school, Edmond Santa Fe, and OSU, especially at linebackers with you and Calvin, and then in the future as well. Why do you think that is, and how cool do you think it is that you guys have that little connection going?
I think it's super cool for the first part. I think it's just a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect for Calvin, and I saw what he was doing up here, and so I knew I would be able to do the same thing if I came. I think it's the same for Colin. He plays the same position as me, and he just sees a lot of potential in himself that he saw in me. And I think he just saw what I'm doing up here and how I got up here as a freshman and created change, and he thinks he can just do the same thing, which I believe he can do also. So I think that's the reason.
Is it nice to just have an easy mentor like that, knowing you guys have so much in common?
It's super nice. It's comfortable. It's like when I don't know anybody in the room and I see Calvin, he's the first guy I go to, kind of thing. It's a lot more comfortable having someone you look up to and know to be there to have around for sure.
Thanks.
Yes,
Our next question is going to come from Dean Rule from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Dean.
Hey there, how you doing today, Trace?
Good.
So obviously, this group's been playing together for a while. So what kind of values and advantages do you see by having, you know exactly what you're going to be getting out of all your other defensive linemen and linebackers and defensive backs? What do you see as the advantages when it comes down to that in close games, knowing exactly what you're getting from everyone?
I think it's just chemistry. I think the advantages of that. It's just good question. I think it's just a bunch of respect with each other. I know what they're gonna do. I know I can get on to the other linemen and they can get on to me, because at the end of the day we're all brothers. It's at the end of the day just knowing that we have each other's back, and knowing that no matter what happens, we're all gonna go as hard as we can to the ball. It's just a lot of comfort out there, just having all the guys behind you. I think that's the biggest advantage, is being comfortable on the field, knowing you can do your job and you don't have to do anything else because everyone else will do their job and be in their gaps to create the play.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Our next question comes from Barry Trammell from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, Trace, tell us something about Jim Knowles that we don't know. What defensive coordinator? What do we not know about that guy that you guys sort of know?
How old school he is, how funny he is. He's just a funny guy. He's in there playing rap music when we come into music, just loud, super loud, just dancing. He's a comical character. He's in there trying to make you laugh, trying to make everyone laugh. And when you see him on TV, you think he's a scary old man, but that's complete opposite of what he is.
Thanks, Trace.
Our next question comes from Garen Emig from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
All right, I wasn't going to ask, but I got to know when Jim puts the rap on, what is he like? We talking about Drake? We talking about old school Run DMC? What
stuff I don't even know the name to. Just stuff I remember listening to in my dad's car when I was 5. Just old stuff. Just we're all just it's a party in there sometimes.
I got to see video of him getting serious with you guys. That's cool. Hey, real quick, non-football question, if you don't mind. Are you voting next week in the election?
I haven't really. I don't know.
You don't know? All right. I've been asking guys if this was their first time around, if they'd be voting. You haven't decided yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I will. My mom won't let me not. So.
All right, thanks.
Our next question comes from Ryan Breeden from the Ocali. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey Trace, I was going to go back to football for a second. With so you guys as an overall unit defensively have been playing like amazing so far. I just wanted to know what your guys' confidence is in that unit. What your guys' confidence is in yourself.
Extremely confident. I mean, ever since fall camp, we've all been highly on ourselves, knowing that we're capable of being the best in college football, and I still stick to that. I think we all stick to it. We go out there with swagger. We all have celebrations on hand ready because we know we're about to make plays, and I think it just makes football a lot more fun knowing how confident we are out there.
Is there any room for improvement you guys feel? Do you think that you're at the level you guys want to be at right now, or do you think there's still more room to get better?
Oh, no, there's always room to get better. There's always room to improve, and I think we definitely need to improve a lot on a lot of stuff. I think every day we just take it one day at a time. I learn something new every single day at practice, and I mean that. Like every single day at practice, I learn something new. And I think just every day is a step forward. But the steps we're at right now, we're proud of where we're at, though.
So do you guys have your next 3 games are going to be against 3 very different but good offenses. What do you think you're going to learn about yourselves in these next 3 games?
Just if we have what it takes, which I think we do. Just yeah. I mean, that's all I can say.
All right. Thanks, Tracy.
Our next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Trace, how's it going?
Good, how about you?
Good. When you've got a defensive coordinator like Jim Knowles who keeps it fun with the rap music and, dancing and everything, how does that help keep you guys, loose as a unit, knowing that you've got a defensive coordinator who doesn't necessarily take itself too seriously all the time?
I think it just it's definitely like some days it's like today it's cold, it's rainy, like no one really wants to be at practice, and then you come into meetings, you have Coach Knowles just hyping us up, like getting us encouraged. It makes you have a lot more energy for practice, a lot more like you're a lot sharper, you're more like awake and more happy, like just more optimistic of the day. I think that's what he brings a lot of that to the day, just being optimistic.
Now, with every game that you guys win, there's more talk of, you guys getting, closer and in the driver's seat of the conference championship and so on. Does that add more pressure for you, or do you think it's just business as usual for that defensive unit?
I think the defense takes it as business as usual. Like we know what we have at hand and what we can accomplish. I know that's the goal, and so we're all just driving to that goal every day. I don't think it stresses us out. I think we just play one game at a time, focus on that game all week, take care of business, and move on to the next.
Thank you, Trace.
And our final question for Trace Ford is going to come from Hallie Hart from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Hallie.
Hi, Trace. To kind of piggyback off Frank's questions too, when you have a coach like Knowles who is fun like that in practice, but then at the same time, you're undefeated so far, trying to keep that success up, what is his message like when it is time for him to get serious and get down to business, and the message from all the other defensive coaches right now too?
Well, when it's time to get to business, it's time to get to business, and you can tell the whole mood has changed. It's time to focus, and so we all settle up and focus on the day. I think they all know when it's time to have fun, when we can joke around, and then when it is time to be serious. I think it's just a maturity thing we have.
Who would you say are guys on the team who fuel that energy most and kind of feed off his energy?
Probably Tre Sterling, Colby Harvell-Peel, Kanayan, all the defensive backs, mainly in the corners. They like to have fun with Jim Knowles, for sure.
Thank you, Trace. I appreciate it.
Trace, thank you so much. But before we let you go, I definitely want to throw out there that it is a joy to watch you play this season. You're just so active, and it's a pleasure to watch it. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here a little bit tonight.
Thank you, sir.
I'll need that autograph soon, Trace. Hey, the ball's in my locker. Just sign it. All right. Thanks, bro. Thanks,
Trey, what's going on?
Nothing much.
All right. Well, you've already kind of done a few of these now, so I think you really know what the drill is. So members of the media, if you have a question for safety Tre Sterling, please click raise hand, and we're going to try and get to everybody. All right, our first question is going to come from Frank Bonner of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Trey, how's it going?
Going good.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Trace about, with every win that you guys have, there's more talk about you guys getting closer to a Big 12 championship and so on. How do you guys, as a defensive unit and as a team, handle that pressure and handle that talk?
I don't really necessarily think we don't really think about it. I'm sure we just it's in the back of our minds, kind of maybe on an off day we'll think about it. They'll talk about it. Coaches will kind of send us a text reminding us of the goal and stuff. But when it's when it's time to practice, time to play games, that's all we're focused on. Really, we're not worried about the future. We can't control that right now. All we can really control is the present and how hard we work during practice and how hard we play during games and stuff like that. So I don't really think that we're too worried about it right now at this point in time. Maybe further down the road, but first we got to get more wins these next couple weeks, before we can start saying stuff like that. So.
And Trace talked about the lighthearted energy that Jim Knowles brings. Sometimes, he playing music, dancing and stuff. Having a defensive coordinator like that, how does that keep you guys loose and energized and fresh to, come out and practice every day? Yeah,
like Trace said, he's just an optimistic person. He sees every bad situation and turns it into a good situation. And, a good situation makes it even better. He just brings energy and, it's contagious. And, we'll get into meetings and we'll get into practice and he's just out there, joking with us, saying the same stuff we're saying, singing the same songs we're singing and stuff like that. And we just find it funny. And that just leads to a good practice, good game, good habits and stuff like that. And, it's just contagious, the energy that he brings. And that's what you look for in a defensive coordinator, or really a coach, is just that energy, that contagious energy that, they bring to lift everyone else up. So.
Appreciate you, Trey.
Yes, sir.
Our next question comes from Garen Emig from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
All right, Trey.
Sure.
Very cool. I will ask you what I asked Trace. Are you planning to vote in the election next week?
Maybe. I haven't really thought about it much just because of just our athletic season right now. But, I might get out and vote. But right now it's not really a concern for me. Maybe when time comes closer, I may. But right now I don't think so. So.
Got a lot on your plate is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is going to come from Barry Trammell from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, Trey, if I'm not mistaken, I think you were here. Your first year was Glenn Spencer's last year as defensive coordinator. I thought Glenn was a very good coach. He did a good job. I was surprised when Gundy made a change. Were you guys surprised? And were you thinking, what was wrong with this guy? But it turns out Knowles has done a fantastic job. Well,
yeah.
Take us through your mindset on, when that change was made and what you thought would happen and how it's sort of played out.
When that change first happened, I was a freshman. Freshmen come in and do, some stupid things in college the first year. So I came in kind of cocky, kind of wondering why I'm not playing and stuff like that, and kind of blaming other people for my mistakes, my, stuff like that. And so I didn't start off very, well with Spencer here. I wasn't the most liked player on the team at the time, my freshman year. But, when Knowles came in and they mixed it up, I kind of saw it as an opportunity to have a fresh start, have a new DC, make a new impression, a better impression. So that's what I did. And so far it's paid off. It's paid off great for me so far. And I just hopefully I can keep that impression he has of me. So.
What do you like about him? We talked about his personality, but just as a defensive coordinator, what makes him so successful?
I think there's a couple things that make him successful. Just one, his scheme is brilliant. It's just genius. I've talked to him about it before and stuff like that. I think he said he's been working on it for 18, 20 years, something like that. And then, his energy, obviously. And then I like the fact that he'll keep it real and he'll tell you when you mess up, how to fix it. And he's not going to sugarcoat anything with you at all. He will tell you straight up how it is, where you messed up, why he's upset with you, and you get it. He'll give you a chance to speak back and give your point of view from the situation or scenario. And I think that's important to have in the coach, not just someone constantly nagging and screaming at you and stuff like that, because that just personally for me, that just makes me upset and brings me down more. I'd rather have someone communicate effectively. So,
Thanks, Trey.
sir.
Next question is going to come from Hallie Hart from the Oklahoman. Go ahead.
Trey, I wanted to ask you a little bit about design too. I know there's been a video OSU did about that, and you started a Twitter account for for that and everything. So how has that gone just right now? Do you have any projects you're
I mean, I can kind of get what you were saying, but it's gone good so far. Oh.
That's good. Is my audio cut off or is it okay? I just wanted to check.
Breaking out.
Okay. It's so my internet's unstable, so I just wanted to make sure. I'd seen on Twitter where you said your favorite one. I'd seen on Twitter where you said your favorite one featured Colby and you and Tanner McAllister. And so I just wondered kind of how did your vision for that one come about, and what's the process like kind of from start to finish of making one like that?
That one, it took a while to make. It took about a week just because I was doing other stuff at the time, but it took about a week to finish just in my free time. But I think I was just scrolling through Instagram and saw something that was kind of similar to it. And I was like, this looks kind of nice. And so I was like, I want to see if I can kind of do something that's similar to it, but kind of, mix it up a little bit with different, obviously, color schemes, just playing around with it and stuff. And so I had started working on it. And as I was working, I kind of just kept adding other elements that I thought would look good, maybe in the background or maybe an adjustment layer, like a hue and saturation layer on me or Colby or Tanner or something like that. So I was just messing around with it, and it came out to be that. And I just thought it looked really good. And I was like, I just may as well share it. Why not? So the worst thing I'll get on Twitter is it looks bad, and I don't really care. So.
No, that's cool. How long does it take you to make one of those generally?
Generally, it would take me maybe, just depending on how many layers and how complex it is, maybe a day or two. Doesn't take me generally too long to make if I keep it simple, but that one took me longer just because I wanted to make it perfect. So.
Okay, cool. What is your major? Is it related to your major? Is it just something you like to do for fun?
It's kind of related to my major. I'm a marketing major with a minor in educational psychology, and I kind of just plan to do the advertising and promotion side of the marketing. So it's kind of related to my major. But I started out here as a CMT, construction management technology, because I wanted to be an architect. But then I got into that and realized that's not what I wanted to do at all. So I switched.
Okay, cool. And I know you said in the video how it's kind of nice to have that as a distraction from football too, but then at the same time it ties into football because you do get to feature your friends in the graphics you make. So what's it like being able to provide those, especially during a time when the graphic design is kind of a really big thing with athletes tweeting them out and stuff?
Yeah, when one of them asked me to do it, I'm always going to, no matter always. And I obviously don't charge anything for it just because it's a hobby of mine and it's practice. But when they ask me for one, it just gives me another opportunity just to perfect my craft, which is Photoshop and digital media and stuff. So I'm always excited when they come up to me and ask me to do stuff like that, or really anyone, because I did one for a recruit that was going to come or is in the process of making a decision, I think. And so I did one for him because he asked me, and it's just part of just making me better at my craft. So I'm always up to do it. If any of y'all want one, just let me know, and I got y'all. So.
All right. Thank you, Trey. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Trey, it's great having you on here because we get to talk about things like layers and saturation, all kinds of terms like that.
That stuff, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
We're going to be down here our last couple questions. Our next question is going to come from Chris Becker from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Trey. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You've gone to play Sam Ellinger a couple times now. What makes him so talented?
the fact that he can, spin the ball and run it. Doesn't look like a dual threat quarterback, but he's one of the top dual threat quarterbacks around. I'm pretty sure he leads Texas in rushing yards, like amongst the team, and obviously passing yards. So, he's just a complete player. He's 6'2", 225 or whatever. I forgot how tall he was, but I know he's around 225, 230. So he's not someone that's easy to bring down either, and he isn't slow, can still throw and all that stuff. He's really just a complete player, what you look for in a quarterback. So.
Yeah, as a safety, you're kind of the last line of defense to the end zone. What do you, Colby, and the other guys are going to have to do this weekend to stop him from taking over this game?
Really, we just got to make sure that if we have someone in man coverage, that we lock them down and secure that so our D line and linebackers can play fast. If we don't, stop routes within 10 yards or something like that, and we just keep letting them have a field day, just throwing it anywhere he wants, it's going to be a long day. They have talented receivers to do that, but we also have talented DBs, some of the top in the nation. So I think we'll be fine if we just do our job and let Eamon and Malcolm and the D-line just play as fast as they can.
Awesome. Thank you, Trey. My bad.
You're good.
All right. Our final question for Tre Sterling is going to come from Ryan Breeden from the Ocali. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Trey. So could you tell me a little bit about how important the relationship with your guys on defense off the field is and how that translates to you guys performing well on the field?
I mean, having chemistry within the team is always important. You don't want to be on the wrong page. Me, Colby, and Tanner are super close. Like, sometimes we'll just give each other like a look or something like that just to make a play call or make a check. And we already know like what we're talking about. We already know what we're doing because we hang out every single day and we have chemistry as a unit. And that's really important just because, you don't want to be off a page or something like that. You want to all be on the same page and working together as one unit instead of 11 different players on the field. So.
Right. And so through what was your first 3 games, we obviously had an idea, okay, this defense is pretty good. But then when you guys were going up against Iowa State, it was like, all right, this is going to be the first real test. And you guys did pretty great then too. So I wanted to ask you what you guys learned about yourselves from that game.
I think from that game, most of the points we have let up this season have just been self-inflicted. We've just kind of hurt ourselves, been in wrong gaps, been in wrong coverages. It's just been, we just hurt ourselves. So there are mistakes, and we're still only letting up. What is it, like 12 a game or something like that right now? After
12.
Yeah. So I mean, we definitely can get better and stop. If we reduce those mistakes and hurting ourselves, it'll get even better. So just to play like Brees Hall's long touchdown run when the outside was completely open. That's just someone just messing up and getting out of a gap. And that's just us hurting ourselves. Like, they shouldn't have scored that touchdown, but we let it up. So we can definitely get better, and we're going to get better.
So do you feel like the confidence that you guys have within your group is like pretty high right now?
Yeah, no, it's still up there. We're still doing good in the confidence, and we still have a lot of room to grow. So. And
that goal, my final question for you, that final goal, as a lot of you guys have told us, that goal that you guys have is the Big 12 championship. Do you guys think you're on the right track for that right now? Think that you're going steady with that?
Yeah, so far we're doing good. We're 4-0. So, I mean, just take it game by game. Just be 1-0 every week, and we'll get there. It's going to be a long process and, a long road, a long journey, but eventually we'll get there. It'll happen in the blink of an eye.
Thank you, Trey. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Trey, thanks so much. We said to Trace earlier about, how it's a joy to watch him play. I mean, you're a lot of times the same way. I mean, good combination of being focused out there and having fun out there. So it's really a joy to watch you do your thing.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you. Have a good night.
See y'all.
Thanks. Take care, everybody.